Hi, everyone. Thank you so much for giving me the stage to talk about an important topic today. Today, we're going to talk about perinatal mood and anxiety disorder. This is an umbrella of disorders that are associated with depression, anxiety, OCD, obsessive compulsive disorder, post-traumatic stress disorder, and bipolar disorder. They're associated with more than just the baby blues that the birthing person can have right after they deliver their baby or during their pregnancies, but they're elevated and impact the person, their children, the attachment between the child and the parent, and other family members. What we see, the trends are that 1 in 5 birthing people may suffer from PMAD, and it's significantly affecting the person and their environment. There is a care gap during visits with obstetricians, with lactation consultants, with doulas, with pediatricians. They don't know a lot about PMAD and having hard time assess for any symptoms. And finally, we know that we can bridge that gap by getting the proper support. However, many birthing people will not seek the support. Today's presentation is really focusing on the care to gap and the treatment gap. Let's take a look. But before we're going into everything is here on the slide, let me tell you my own story. I have 4 kids. And in case you're wondering, I'm done. With each one of them, I would have a lactation consultant come over and help me with feeding, with positioning, with latching, with supporting me with my infant when they were born. In the 4th visit with baby number 4, I asked the lactation consultant and I said, I'm curious to know if I'm telling you that I have feelings that I want to hurt my baby, or that I'm feeling that I can drop her at any given moment, or that I don't feel like I want to connect with her, what are you going to do? And she looked at me, and it felt like she really wanted to ask me, why are you creating a problem? What's going on? And she said, I guess I'm going to call your partner to come into the room, and we'll talk about it, the 3 of us. And I said, but what if he's part of the problem? And maybe that's not something I want to disclose with him. And she said, I'm not sure. So that was a call for research, which is what we're doing here in academia. And so today's presentation is really going to look at lactation consultants and their knowledge and experience with PMAD and access to mental health services. The premise is really that like obstetrician, pediatrician, doulas, and midwives, lactation consultants interact with birthing people all the time in different capacities, whether it's home visits or hospital visits. We see them as trusted providers that can help us navigate the model to better care. Another thing that was important and made us realize how important it is to connect is that evidence from the literature show us that there is a connection between being successful in feeding and breastfeeding and mental health capacities. So the more you're successful in breastfeeding, it may reduce your level of PMAD. The more you have PMAD, you may decrease your chances for breastfeeding. And for those of you who know or don't, it can be a very frustrating process and really touches us in the most insecure place. How can I cannot feed my own child and can elevate PMAD? So we started with a cross-sectional study, very straightforward, with 85 lactation consultants in the US, and we really wanted to ask them questions related to their experience in the field and their education. What do they know about PMAD? How much they have learned about PMAD? How much they encounter that in the field? And what do they think is their perceived idea of using screening tools when they're seeing birthing people for lactation visit, a visit that is supposed to be just focusing on feeding, but now becomes a little bit more holistic. We found few important findings, and one of them is that the training is really limited. It's much more focusing on techniques to help birthing people to feed, less about perinatal mood and anxiety disorder. We also found that those who are actually using any screening tool to assess depression, anxiety, or other mood disorder were more prone to talk to birthing people about their experience and refer them to trusted providers in the community. And finally, which was the most important thing, majority of them saw an ethical responsibility to deliver the idea that PMAD is important and to ask birthing people during their visit about their experience. So we knew that we have something to work with. So in the next few slides, I'm really going to talk about how did we take it to the field, how are we taking it right now into the field. And so we understand that we have a gap, but we also understand that we have a solution. That if we're going to provide lactation consultants with the proper training, they may be a better source for our birthing people who may struggle with PMAD. With the help of the Susan Hickman Award and the Postpartum Support International, we're implementing a study that looks at providing lactation consultants across the 160 Baby Cafe USA sites and providing them with this training, and I'll get a little excited, providing them with training that will qualify them to speak with their customers about PMAD, develop an assessment, and then send them to trusted providers. I'm going back for just a second. Baby Cafe USA is a non-for-profit organization that runs across the country, has 160 spots where birthing people and their family can drop in during the first few months of their child's life and get free training, free consultation in breastfeeding, positioning, latching, etc. So we have the lactation consultants, we have the money to implement a training for them. And this is the first part of what we're doing with a proper assessment. But then came another thing, which was absolutely fantastic. So remember, we need to know about how to support lactation consultant with training, but then what are we telling them to offer birthing people who are actually struggling? So with a collaboration with the School of Nursing here at Hunter, there is a development of a mobile app that exactly targeted toward birthing people who are struggling. So instead of reaching out to a therapist or instead of finding a support group, the app, the Mom Connect, is an app that you can download and use directly, and it's gonna give you the module and give you provide you with the support. Everything is online, and you can speak with a qualified therapist, read more about, psychoeducate yourself, not just you as the birthing person, but also for family member. So now what you see here is that we started with the step of training lactation consultant, and then we gave them with the appropriate tool to support birthing people in the field. In this way, we're reducing both gaps, the care gap with training and the treatment gap with accessible app. Finally, as social worker, thinking about holistic approaches, here at the school, we're implementing an elective for our student related to perinatal mood and anxiety disorder, so they know what's about, how to treat it, how is it different than other diagnoses, and they can go into the field with much more knowledge and certainty. And finally, with the help of the Cycle 55 of the PSC CUNY, we're actually looking at the experiences of gender diverse families, their experiences with lactation consultants, their own, the experience of the lactation consultants working with gender diverse families, and the intersectionality of mental health. Just to wrap it all up, we started with a simple research, or maybe my anecdotal story when my daughter was born, and we went into the idea that education is a key. And the more we bring awareness about something that is really important to us, and for me it was PMAD, we can make changes and help. And with the collaboration of the nursing school here at Hunter and the app that they developed, we can help many birthing people. And finally, this research is going to be translated to many other providers who are touching this very vulnerable population during the time of pregnancy and delivery. Thank you.